When we talk about race and equality, we always discuss it from the perspective of minorities, the people who are not in power, the people who have few to no rights in this so-called land of the free, the people whose voices are silenced by literal and systematic oppressors. But what happens when the oppressor think they are the oppressed? In order to establish power, dominance, and a hierarchy in and around the world, the race was invented, with whiteness being at the top of the hierarchy, thereby making every other race inferior. When colonizing Native American land, colonizers realized that without Africans, their enterprises would fail. With this realization, Africans were now being brought directly from Africa rather than from African communities established in Europe or other European colonies. They were different from earlier Africans in that they were heathens, that is, not Christians, and were unfamiliar with European languages, customs, and traditions. They were vulnerable to any and all restrictions placed on them. Some colony leaders began to argue that Africans had no rights under British law and therefore could be subject to forced and permanent labor with impunity. Moreover, race emerged specifically to justify this new form of dehumanizing slavery and was essentially a cultural invention about human differences that had its basis in social, political, and economic conditions. These social and political categories were designed to keep Black/African American people at the bottom while whites continued to reign at the top. That is a brief history of how white privilege began in America, and in this essay I will analyze white privilege and its effects. White privilege, or white supremacy, is an ideology believing that white people are superior to people of other races. Therefore, whites should be dominant over other races. Eurocentric ideologies has pervaded the world so much that white has become the norm or default when talking about anything in general.
When you say white, like what does that mean to you?
White is the default. It's the default race.
It's just the norm. To be white is the good thing.
Vice News' documentary, Charlottesville, Race and Terror, shines a light on Christopher Cantwell, a white nationalist who believes his country is being taken over by Jews, communists, and African Americans. To convey this message, Cantwell and other white supremacists organized the Unite the Rally protests in Charlottesville, Virginia, near University of Virginia's campus. The film opens up.
Replace us! You replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Blood and soil! Blood and soil! Blood and soil! Blood and soil! Whose streets? Our streets! 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 Whose streets?
This insinuates that when people of other ethnicities, religions, practices, and race are somehow replacing their very existence. They believe that you have to be a true American to live here and gain access to jobs. To be authentically American, Alan Goodman, Yolanda Moses, and Joseph Jones assures us that white refers to an unmarked racial category in their book, Race, Are We So Different? These unmarked categories represent the normal standard against which others are measured. Because minority groups are on their way to getting equal rights, such as representation in office, white supremacists like Cantwell believe something he is entitled to is being taken away from him. Moreover, Cantwell isn't alone. Towson University student Matthew Heimbach believes that the presence of a Black student union on campus threatens his very existence.
Good-spirited folks, but they're just wrong. I simply believe that European Americans should be able to organize and act for our own best interests.
But y'all been doing that.
Really? Have we? Really? Have we?
Europeans been organizing.
No, we're not.
Yes,
tell me,
Who wrote the Constitution? It wasn't us.
Okay, question for you. So where in modern day America? Where in modern day America is there an organization like the NAACP for white people? Where is the United White
Congress and
Caucus?
the Senate.
Really?
The Congress and the Senate.
Elected by the people.
That's Congress and the Senate.
Elected by the
And
people.
judges and lawyers.
Really?
I don't see us
So
in there.
black people can't become lawyers and judges?
Not with white people in power.
Additionally, with this protest, Robert Amador Ray, a writer for the Daily Stormer, an American neo-Nazi and white supremacist news and commentary website, insists that
Well, for one thing, it means that we're showing to this parasitic class of anti-white vermin that this is our country. This country was built by our forefathers. It's sustained by us. It's going to remain our country. We greatly outnumbered the anti-white, anti-American filth. And at some point, we will have enough power that we will clear them from the streets forever.
this is important because it emphasizes the entitlement white people have over this country. Saying that this country was built by their forefathers and sustained by them ignores the work that slaves were forced to do. Their forefathers may have had a part in colonizing the native land, but in terms of building and actually maintaining America is a little questionable. This also proves Beyonce's very notable speech when presenting Colin Kaepernick with Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. She stated that
it's been said that racism is so American that when we protest racism, some assume we're protesting America.
Moses and Jones state that the history of race in America is grossly incomplete without the stories of how white folks came to be. This is an indication that most Americans have racial prejudices that dates back to the beginnings of America. But this early classification, white supremacy, and its adherents are convinced that they are entitled to everything America has to offer and will fight everyone who disagrees with them. Moreover, Robin D.G. Kelly, a historian at University of Southern California, states that race was never just a matter of categories. It was a matter of creating hierarchies.
So we have the black student development, Latino student development, gay student development, student success programs for those who can't make it, and things for women. So one day white people are going to be on there. We'll be treated equally with every other single group, hopefully. But demanding equality for white people on campus apparently isn't very popular. But, you know, that's okay.